Ambleside Narragansett. The next stop is Ambleside Bus Interchange.
Yeah, the town centre is quite hard. Right, come around the stop sign and the side. Right, half the shopping centre.
Do you want to go on the outside panel? I thought you'd been on that. I asked her a few times. Also, I might leave it this year. It's not what you haven't done. No. I think so, really. In the thing. I'm no good. But it's not.
We'd like to remind passengers on the upper deck to please remain seated while the vehicle is in motion and to keep hands, arms, legs and heads within the sides and rear walls of the vehicle at all times. Thank you very much. To those passengers who have just joined us, we would like to welcome you aboard this Stagecoach 599 service to Grasmere. We're now travelling through the town of Ambleside. There's been a settlement here for over 2,000 years, dating back to before Galava, which was built by the Romans. As the Roman Empire declined, the area came under the control of Furness Abbey, near Furness. The ruins of the abbey are still visited today. The Industrial Revolution brought new technologies to the area. The road system was transformed from mud cart tracks to reliable roads, and water, bark and bobbin mills were built alongside water courses. The Stock Gill still has the remnants of water mills near its banks. By the late 19th century, the town had expanded as the tourist industry caught up and overtook the mills as the town's main trade, and visiting the area became easier with the arrival of the railway at Windermere. Can you believe that at one time this tiny two-room building was supposedly home to a family of 2 parents and 6 children? Bridge House is possibly the most photographed building in the Lake District. It was built as an apple store, the Ambleside Hall, and straddled Stockbeck to escape land tax.
next stop is Ambleside Health Centre. Please ring the bell if you wish to alight here. The next stop is Rydal. Please ring the bell if you wish to alight here.
We're now entering Rydal, most famous Rydal Mount, where Clovis William were to have lived until his death in 1850. Some of the house dates back to 1574. It was enlarged in 1750 and has changed little since. It's now a Grade 1 listed building. Rydal Mount is not the obvious large building you can see through the trees. That's Rydal Hall, built in the 16th century. Its present look dates from the early 19th century. This is the so-called New Hall, built by the first Sir Michael the Fleming in the 16th century, enlarged in the 17th century, altered and refaced in the 18th century, with the main front dating from the early 19th century. The original Rydal Hall was closer to the Covent Road, but was in ruins by the end of the 16th century. The village of Rydal was built on the old trade route between Ambleside and Keswick, originally a pack horse trail, developed.
Oh, got it, fine.
Rydal Water is one of the smallest rivers in the district. That is the lake. It's only 3/4 mile long and 1/4 mile wide, which also shallow, with a maximum depth of 50 feet. The high line is roughly terraced. Up the famous Rydal Caves, a large man-made cavern in the hillside, which is a remnants of the snake mine. grasmere is slightly larger than Bridlewater. The island in the centre is said to have been a favourite place of poet William Wordsworth, who lived in nearby residences Dove Cottage and Bank.
The next stop is Dove Cottage. Please ring the bell if you wish to alight here.
You can see Dove Cottage behind the buildings next to the car park. It was built in the 17th century as a public house and was first recorded as the Dove and Olive in 1617. It remained a pub and closed in 1793. It was then converted into a house, and its most famous residents, William Wordsworth and his sister Dorothy, arrived in 1799, and later Wordsworth's new wife, Mary. Thomas de Quincey, a journalist and writer, was a permanent guest at Dove Cottage, and in 1808 the family outgrew Dove Cottage and moved to Allen Bank in the village of Grasmere. Dove Cottage was acquired by the Wordsworth Trust in 1890, opening to the public in 1891. Inside, the cottage looks the same now as it did in Wordsworth's day.
Stop is Grasmere Swan. Please ring the bell if you wish to alight here. The next stop is Grasmere, the terminus for this service. When you leave the bus, please make sure you have all your personal belongings with you. We thank you for using the service today and we hope to see you again soon.
We'd like to remind passengers on the upper deck to please remain seated while the vehicle is in motion and to keep hands, arms, legs and heads within the sides and rear walls of the vehicle at all times. Thank you very much. To those passengers that just joined us, we'd like to welcome you aboard this Stagecoach 599 service. We're now travelling through the village of Grasmere. Grasmere is a large and picturesque village and home to St Oswald's Church, where William Wordsworth and his family are buried. The Wordsworths lived in two homes in the village, Allen Bank on the outskirts and the old rectory. It's also home of Grasmere gingerbread, made here to a secret recipe since 1854.
The next stop is Dove Cottage. Please ring the bell if you wish to alight here.
You can see Dove Cottage. Behind the building is next to the car park. It was built in the 17th century as a public house and was first recorded as the Dove and Olive in 1617. It remained a pub until it closed in 1793. It was then converted into a house where its most famous residents, William Wordsworth and his sister Dorothy, arrived in 1799, and later Wordsworth's new wife Mary. Thomas de Quincey, journalist and writer, was a permanent guest at Dove Cottage, and in 1808 the family outgrew Dove Cottage to Allen Bank, the village of Grasmere. Dove Cottage was acquired by the Wordsworth Trust in 1820, but lived public in 1891. Inside, the cottage looks the same now as it did in Wordsworth's day. 1 mile long, half a mile wide, and 75 feet deep. Grasmere is slightly larger than Bridle. The island in the centre is said to be a favourite place, including Wordsworth, with nearby residences, Dove Cottage, and
The next stop is White Cross. Please ring the bell if you wish to alight here.
Ja, stimmt, ja.
Aber wenn jetzt 100 Meter weiter gelaufen dann war das die 30 Meter Ende oder 500 Meter. Und dann fiel 210 rein und dann konnte man nicht rollen.
It's only 3/4 of a mile long and a quarter of a mile wide. It's also shallow, a maximum depth of 50 feet. Behind the lake is Luffield Terrace, a popular and easy walking area. It also contains bridal caves, a large man-made cabin in the hillside, which is remnants of the slip.
The next stop is Bridle. Please ring the bell if you wish to alight here.
We're now entering Bridle, most famous for Bridle Mount, where the poet William Wordsworth lived until his death in 1850. Some of the house dates back to 1574. It was enlarged in 1750 and has changed little since. It's now a Grade 1 listed building. Bridle Mount is not the obvious large building you see in the trees. That's Ryde Hall, built in the 16th century. Its present look dates from the early 19th century. This is the so-called New Hall, built by the first Sir Michael de Fleming in the 16th century, enlarged in the 17th century, and altered and refaced in the 18th century, with the main front dating from the 19th century. The original rival hall was closer to the current road, but was in ruins by the end of the 16th century. The village to a turnpike road in the 18th century. There was also a levy of the deer line in the 13th century on the other side of the river, and this would shape the development of the village. Its new building was a lack of park.
Der nach beiden Farben von der Richtung muss. Wenn wir uns überlegen, ganz heute auch noch ein anderes das ist einfach ein Süd hier. Sag mir Bescheid.
Guck mal. Ja.
Jetzt hier? Nee.
Nee. Noch nicht.
Was ist denn?
Ja. Mach mal. Ja. Ja. Jetzt.
The next stop is Ambleside Health Centre.
Ja, das ist es.
Please ring the bell if you wish to alight here. The next stop is Ambleside, Kelsick Road. Please ring the bell if you wish to alight here.
We're now approaching Ambleside Town Centre. Passengers wishing to catch the 505 service to Hawkshead and Coniston and the 516 service to Elterwater and Dungeon Gill should change here. If you're leaving the bus here, we'd like to remind you to check you have all your personal belongings with you. Thank you again for using this service today, and we hope to see you again soon.
Hayes Garden Centre. Please ring the bell if you wish to alight here.
We'd like to remind passengers on the upper deck to please remain seated while the vehicle is in motion and to keep hands, arms, legs and heads within the sides and rear walls of the vehicle at all times. Thank you very much.
The next stop is Waterhead Pier. Please ring the bell if you wish to alight here.
You'll shortly be arriving at Waterhead, home of Ambleside's Lake Pier. There are a number of small shops and cafes in the area, and just around the corner is Barnes Park, with access to the lake's shore, perfect for a stroll. If you're looking to take a lake cruise, please alight here.
Yours. No water. I'm on this. Oh, that was before the trees. This is got footage of trees out there.
The next stop is Lowood. Please ring the bell if you wish to alight here.
We're about to pass Lowood Bay. If you look out over the lake, you'll see, provided it's not raining, a stunning view over Lake Windermere to the Langmere Pipes. Really, it's the best view from the bus stop in the world. The lake itself is England's largest. Because mere means lake, there's no need to call it Lake Windermere, just Windermere. The lake has a number of small wooded islands. These are owned by the National Trust and accessible by boat. The largest island is Belle Isle, named after Isabella, wife of John Conan, completed an unusual circular house on the island. The lake was used by Romans for quarried stone and excavations for a common house, revealing remains from Roman occupation.
Please ring the bell if you wish to alight here.
Coming up is the Rockholm National Park Visitor Centre. Once a private dwelling owned by the Gavin family, later managed Beatrix Potter, it became a convalescent home during World War II, and latterly the National Park Visitor Centre in 1965. There are 10 acres of formal gardens and 20 acres of informal gardens and meadows. Its attractions include the centre itself, a cafe, restaurant, garden, aimed at various owners, woodland, lakeside walks, adventure playground, formal and informal gardens, and a treetop trek, aerial golf course, and treetop decks to entertain the kids and adults alike.
The next stop is Whitecross Bay. Please ring the bell if you wish to alight here.
We're about to pass Whitecross Bay Holiday Park. This place has a fascinating history. During World War II, the site was a factory owned by the Short brothers, in which Sunderland flying boats were made. The original factory was in Rochester in Kent, and when that became a target for the Luftwaffe, production moved to the shores of Windermere. Around 35 flying boats were built and launched here, with most bound for protection of U-boat hunting grounds and the Atlantic convoys. The location was ideal, as it was sheltered, isolated, and had easy access to a large open stretch of water where planes could take off. The Shaw brothers also built a small village, Colgarth, to house the workers, which is now part of the holiday park.
The next stop is Troutbeck Bridge. Please ring the bell if you wish to alight here. The next stop is Hammerbank. Please ring the bell if you wish to alight here.
As we approach the roundabout, the road up the hill leads to Kirsten Pass, then Riddick and Ullswater. Kirsten Pass, at an altitude of almost 1,500 feet, is the Lake District's highest pass you can drive over. There's a common summit, the Kirsten Pass Inn, which is the third highest point in England, generates its own power using large wind turbines. Then Riddick is the small village that sits at the southern end of Ullswater and in the shadow of Helmelin, England's third highest. It's popular with walkers and with tourists who take the lake's steamers to Cooley Bridge at the north end of the lake. Ullswater is the second largest lake in the Lake District, behind Lake Windermere. It's 9 miles long and 3/4 of a mile wide at its widest point, but it's relatively shallow at around 200 feet at its deepest. Before the county of Cumbria was formed, Ullswater was the boundary between the counties of Cumberland and Westmoreland. It's widely considered to be one of the most beautiful of English lakes and has been compared to Lake Lucerne in Switzerland with stunning views and scenery. Stagecoaches seasonal 508 service passes through Glenwood and travels the length of Oswald before continuing to Penrith. Windermere station. Please change here for the number 6 service to Ambleside Barrow. The seasonal 508 service to Glenrinning, Oswater and Penrith. The 555 service to Keswick, Kendal and Lancaster. As we turn into the station, we'll pass the Tourist Information Centre. Windermere train station used to be much bigger with 4 platforms and a large canopy. The canopy is now part of the group's supermarket.